I'm super excited about this podcast today. I'm going to be doing something that I haven't done before. My guest is going to be in person for this interview as opposed to a recording on online because all my guests before that I've been interviewing, they don't live in Lincoln, and so they have to be recorded. And frankly, it's easier with busy schedules just to kind of line up and do something remotely. But when I reached out to this next guest, he said, "What if I just come over and redo it just at your house?" And I was like, "Actually, that sounds great. So let's do this." And so I'm going to be interviewing Joe Cruz today. He is Casey's chief pizza and beer officer. And I read an article about him recently in the Lincoln Journal-Star and was like, what is this? Let's be honest. If you hear of Casey's chief pizza and beer officer, you're intrigued, aren't you? Because I was intrigued. And so he's kind of a combination social media influencer, taste tester person. I don't know. You're going to learn all about it here. So just stay right here. Anyway, I also learned that Casey's is based out of Iowa, and it's located in 17 different states. Yes, that's right. The Casey's we're talking about, the gas station and all of those things that has like the really good pizza and the breakfast pizza. You all know what I'm talking about. But what are the odds that with it being in Iowa and located in all these states, that their very first chief pizza and beer officer would reside right here in Lincoln, Nebraska? It's super exciting. He's a lot of fun. I had a really good time visiting with him, and you're going to enjoy this. This is How to Speak Nebraskan. So, Joe Cruz.
Yes.
I am so excited you are here right now. I kind of feel like I have a celebrity right here in my house a little bit. So,
well,
yeah.
Careful. My wife would tell you to stop talking like that before my head gets too big.
Okay. Sounds good. No, this is exciting. You hold a title that I think like so many people would want to hold, and I can only imagine the envy that people have had of you. And I just learned about it recently. Actually just right here, I'll even just kind of show everybody right here. That's right. Read your newspapers, people. I tell you, this is not an antiquated thing. Joe Cruz in the paper the other day about his title of Casey's Chief Pizza and Beer Officer. And in spirit of that, you've even brought, because you are a beer and pizza aficionado now, and you even get paid to consume beer and pizza.
Yes, I do.
You brought beer here.
I sure did.
Okay.
I brought one of my favorite beers from locally Nebraska made.
Okay.
Out of Broken Bow. This is Kincaid's Raspberries Devil's Gap.
Okay.
They have this. This is the raspberry. They have a full flavor, which is just jalapeno ale.
Okay.
And that's one of my favorite beers. It's delicious. This was slightly cheaper on sale today at the store. So
okay, sounds good.
So I thought we'd crack some open and sip on them while we chat.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. All right. Very good. All right. That is good. All right.
Yeah,
thank you.
A little bit of a kick, but still sweet.
Yeah. Well, so tell me a little bit about. So let's just kind of start off. What is a chief pizza and beer officer?
Well, chief pizza and beer officer is in charge of pairing pizzas and beers together to make a perfect harmony. But for me, it entails a lot of social media, entertainment.
Right.
I actually just got done recording a video today because next week is National Pizza Week.
Okay.
So Friday we're going to be dropping a video encouraging everyone to get out there. Casey's going to have pizza deals all week long.
Really?
So
the week of January
12th through the 16th.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so coming right up. I don't know when this is going to drop.
I'll get it out there by then. I'll get it out there before then.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just a lot of, just creative entertainment online.
Yeah.
And Casey's has done a fabulous job at creating this position because they are now the official pizza and beer headquarters.
Yeah, that's what I read.
That's
crazy.
That's how it all began. They said, well, if there's an official pizza and beer headquarters, they're going to need someone to run it.
Right.
And that's where the CPBO position came in.
Wow. So, okay. So obviously a person cannot just become a CPBO overnight. This is no easy feat.
Years of practice, years of training.
Years of practice. So let's talk a little bit about the background of kind of what you've done that led up to the point to get you this role. Like, what is kind of your background in?
Well, I would say primarily my background in entertainment is what pushed me here. I love being. My wife's gonna just laugh.
You just go for it. It's fine.
I love being the center of the room. You know, the guy making all the jokes. And,
right.
I love hosting and, you know, making sure everyone's having a good time. Yeah. That's my bottom line for my purpose on the world. Mm-hmm. Now I feel like I'm starting to sound like Tom Cruise.
Ooh, I like it.
But so yeah, just years of, you know, making sure everyone's having a good time, and then my story kind of began for social influencer during the pandemic. Because my part-time job is I'm a wedding DJ or, you know, events entertainer. Okay. And when the shutdown happened, I was just going crazy at home, and I had nothing to do. No one.
Did you have a bunch of like wedding gigs canceled on you then, or like what? Did tons of stuff? Or
a ton. The majority were moved. I was able to keep all the brides and grooms, but move them to different dates. Okay. I might have lost 4 or 5 out of, and for the whole year, I was probably sitting about 30 or 35 weddings. Okay. But to only lose, man, the beer might have been a bad choice. But I've only lost 4 or 5 due to some people still got married, just the 2 of them at the church. Okay. Some, when they rescheduled, we couldn't accommodate each other. So I'm very proud to say I was able to refund all deposits that I could not keep their gig. Right.
But when even if you ended up having them and getting paid later, you didn't know during that time it would happen. You didn't know. You know, you probably found out months or a year later.
It was hey, even though they're opening up venues again. Yeah. We're still gonna wait, and we'll pick a date, you know, in a year from now, or maybe next spring or fall, and then try to make sure that we can keep you as our DJ. Right. So yeah, there was a lot that were just falling off and not knowing when they're going to come back.
Don't forget about me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it wasn't hard for them to keep me in mind, because 1011 News asked me to DJ, or asked me to go on air and talk about being a DJ, missing out on all these gigs. Okay. So it was really funny, because I had, as soon as the lockdown happened, I kind of mullet for fun, probably still because I was going crazy inside. And so I'm sitting there laughing with I said, well, we gotta get, you know, Kevin Bacon in here to open up the dance floors again, you know, save us, Kevin. And so I'm sitting there joking with this ugly mullet, and I told her, like, you got to add something that let them know I'll have my hair fixed by the time I'm DJing again. Right. But yeah, it was a wild time. But within that's when I started doing TikTok videos and Instagram videos. Okay. I hadn't had an account before that, and just kind of copying what other people were doing online. And that's when local brewery Zipline reached out to me, because I was good friends with their marketing guy, Craig. Hi, Craig. And he said, Joe, we can't make our own videos because we can't get together with anyone. But if I bring you beer, would you do what you're doing with Busch Light, with Natty Light? Right. But just use our beer. And I'm like, yeah, no brainer. Yeah. So every Friday there's a fresh case of Zipline Local Time. Sweet. And then they were also doing a promotion of they'll deliver the beers and bring a band to play for a little bit. Oh, really? So they had the band come to my house, and we're doing an Instagram video waving like, thanks guys, and conducting the band with the beer bottle. And we had all the neighbors just come out like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, that's basically where I got started with the social media stuff. And I just kept going, because I just love the idea of I'm reaching other people out there. And of course, yeah, I want to become famous. I want to become the $1 million account, you know. Right. That hasn't happened, but I might be on my way. Yeah, there you go. When Casey's put out this contest to become the CPBO. Right. And I didn't even know about it, but I had a good friend who saw it and immediately just texted me, Joe, you have to do this right now. Right. And read through the thing, fill out some paperwork online, send in a resume, shoot a video asking why you want to be the CPBO.
Right.
And rest is history.
Well, and it seems like it brings together all. I mean, you got into being a DJ. Definitely would utilize a lot of those same like sort of skills and like sort of thought process maybe behind it. The TikTok and TikToks that you're doing, and then you actually can say, I've done this for a local brewery, right? So
I think having the experience definitely helped, and they were able to just scroll through my videos,
right?
And they could see my personality, they could see what I've done, my kind of like humor and video style, and just to say that would translate really well for what we need to do here,
right?
at Casey's. So
yeah. Okay, so your friend tells you about this. You're excited. You're like, "Yep, It's kind of a nice moment when you know there's something you want to apply for, and you're like, "I want this." You know,
This isn't the first time she suggested stuff for me too, though.
Yeah.
So it's always a little you want to put your heart and soul into it, but darn it, like I've been let down before. You know, like I didn't make the cut, so
right.
You kind of let that start sinking in as you're waiting.
Yeah.
But to distract myself, I just went ahead and made 2 more videos and put them up for Casey's to see if they.
So you hung out outside of Casey's, and so what was your first video?
First video I threw on. I'm a man of costumes, as you can see.
I love it.
Probably could have worn this actually, but I threw on an Olympic medalist jacket, Elvis sunglasses, a captain's hat, put Casey's logo right in the front, and it said, "Are you a good communicator? Do you love pizza? Do you love beer? And tell us why you want it." So I literally just answered the questions. I love pizza. I love beer.
Right.
I'm a good communicator.
Right.
And I want to be the CPBO. That was it. So just kept it as simple as possible with exactly what they asked.
Right.
And yeah, then that was it. The next one, I went into a Casey's and I was doing a selfie video just saying, my son just got done with Heritage School. He's tired of eating that stuff all day. Bring home some Casey's, please. So I even told him, like, since I ordered this on the app, I could just come in and pick it up.
Right.
What's more modern times than that compared to a Heritage School?
Right.
And then, man, I can't remember my third. There was a third one I did, but.
Well, actually, and on that note, did you, if I remember right, when I read the article, if I understood this right, you submitted a video. You're kind of then waiting, you're hoping, but then you actually saw some other people's videos that posted.
Oh yeah, because you
probably then had this sense of like, crap, I need to up my game a little bit.
It was,
or what was it?
It wasn't quite as I want to up my game, because I think my game was already at, like,
you felt good.
I felt good because a lot of the other contestants, they'll just come into their kitchen, set down a pizza and a beer. I'm going to pair these together. I'd like to be the CPBO.
Right.
Or someone else is just telling a list of stories of places they visited, pizzas they ate in different countries.
Right.
But it's still just like a story. And they weren't like showing all the glitz and glamour. That
personality, maybe.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, there were maybe 3 or 4, couple guys and couple girls that I was like, all right, keep an eye on these 2. Like they're probably up there for the championship or but yeah, so it did kind of reassure me that I might have a shot at this when no one else is going out to the Casey's and boots on the ground and costumes.
I found some of that because you interviewed people at Casey's, and what did you ask? You just asked them what is their favorite pizza and beer, is that right?
That was for National Pizza and Beer Day.
Okay.
And that was asking if they can name as many Casey's specialty pizzas or beers as they can.
Gotcha.
And yeah, that was a cute, fun little video. My daughter and my son, the older 2, they're my camera people every time.
Oh, okay.
So she's running the cameras, and my son will too. But then she gets to see like how dad operates or how he works.
Right. And
kind of get her out of the shell and, all right, Cosette, I want you to go ask this person this time instead of me.
Right.
And I don't know, Dad. That's
yeah.
But she, excuse me, would you like to answer some questions first? And they're like,
what kind of beer do you like?
Exactly.
Why are you asking me that question? All right, very good.
We had a couple. One guy had his kids with him, 2, I don't know, maybe 13-year-old boys. And all right, name all the beers. Did you say Coors, Dad? Hey, shut up! You can't. How do you know about that?
Right? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No. Focus on pizza.
You're the pizza. Yeah.
Okay. So you go through and you submit these videos. You're waiting. Let's hear about the day that you found out that you got it.
That day was very interesting and very fun because at the time I was on a board of directors for WIPA. It's a wedding networking group.
Okay.
And we're in Omaha. We're meeting early in the morning. We're going through all the stuff for the next year. It's like our big retreat. And as the icebreaker, we're going around, what would your dream job be or something? And someone says they'd love to be a chef. And one of my friends, Julie, said, I would love to be on Survivor. And then it came to me, and I knew in the next day or two, they'd be letting me know if I got it or not.
Right.
So my answer was, I'd love to be the chief pizza and beer officers for Casey. And half of them are laughing, not following me on, my personal
okay,
social
so
media.
They're kind of, where did that come from?
They're just like, oh, that's funny, Joe.
Right.
You're so funny.
Right.
And then we take our lunch break, and I get the email during our meeting.
Oh, sweet.
And as we get back to work, I'm like, I'm sorry, ladies. I have to interrupt. I can't ignore this.
Right.
I just became the CPBO of Casey's. And the room erupts. Everyone's laughing, applauding.
And then you have to explain, like, by the way, this is what this is.
Well, I already explained it to them after I told them.
Okay, gotcha.
But then I realized, damn it, maybe I should have said I should be on Survivor.
Yeah, exactly.
Became true.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have happened.
Yeah.
How big can we take this thing?
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Wow, you could, but that is hilarious. You say your dream right there,
yeah,
and it just comes true like a little bit later.
That. Yeah, wish I had $1 million.
That's perfect.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you find out this is exciting, and so okay, if I'm remembering correctly from the article, you found out, is it like February 9th, like National Pizza Day?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep, National Pizza Day.
Okay. So what then? You find out, you're excited. What happens next?
That day was, I'll never forget.
It was something.
Casey submitted the PR press release to a few news outlets the week before.
Okay.
Heads up, we have the CPPO position. We're going to be dropping it February 9th. And they're like, we might get some calls. You might have some, interviews or something. Like maybe 2 or 3, we'll see.
Right.
And everyone picked up on it.
Really?
Like, everyone. There was over 50 reports mentioning it.
Really?
I was interviewed probably a dozen newspapers, magazines, blogs, 1011,
Jeez.
and Journal Star. So that's the second time I was in the Journal Star for the CPBO. They had a full page, front page spread all about me.
Really?
3 different color pictures. My coworker laughed his ass off. He's like, this has to be the most ridiculous front page article I've ever read.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then going to 1011, there was 3 guys there or 1 guy to interview me, but 3 other guys just hanging out.
Right.
Like, I gotta check this out. Like, they had nothing to
See,
do.
they want to meet you. You're kind of famous.
And then one of them's even like, man, you took my job, dude. And I hear that all the time.
I bet.
All the time. Anytime someone sees me, like, you took my job, Joe. Sorry. Better look next year.
Hey. Well, and to which you can say, listen, this is not just about pizza and beer. It's also the Instagram and TikTok stuff, right?
That's right. But so I went to the Casey's down by my shop, got pizzas for the office to celebrate.
Yeah.
And also kind of saying sorry, like I'm using my coworker's office for some of these interviews.
Right.
I'm in and out of the office that whole day. Like, I'm sorry, this will settle down.
Right.
But it's been a fun ride. And I love doing all these podcasts and stuff too. So.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And so what was the part, okay, in this article, you said that your father-in-law kind of looks like Andy Reid. And, this is right before the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
So what did you do with all this?
I used the Super Bowl, which was that Sunday, as my launch party.
Sweet.
So my first unofficial Casey's video was 4 pizzas on the table, Casey's chips, soda, beers.
Is this just like at your house?
Just at my house.
I bet everybody wanted to come to your house after this. You're like, oh my God, yeah, let's celebrate.
Yeah. We had my dad, my brother, but yeah, my father-in-law Bruce. Dead resemblance for Andy Reid. So
that's awesome.
Put some Casey's gear on him and the red and oh my gosh, the vest like Andy Reid.
Right, yeah.
So I had him come in and, all right, we're gonna eat some pizza with the coach, and hey, you got to get back to the game. Like, okay, and just walks off. Like, Bruce, you don't have to talk at all. Just walk in, walk out.
I love it.
And I've used him again for another one of my favorite videos. Was for the Olympics, and I had him like he was my coach.
Okay.
And checking the stopwatch, like checking the distance, and then basically I'm trying to shot put a pizza into his box on the 50-yard line.
Nice.
It was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, you had all of this, and you've gotten some tours of breweries. How does this happen? Who is the one? When I read that you've got a tour, I think up in Milwaukee and maybe in St. Louis.
Yep.
Who's calling you to invite you to do this?
So that's on Casey's behalf.
Okay.
So within as CPBO, some of my things I have to take care of is
some of your responsibilities.
My responsibility.
Right.
Got to make sure the beer's fresh.
Right. Exactly.
They basically. Every year, they want me to do in-person appearances.
Okay.
And I got lucky that those include touring Molson Coors, touring Anheuser-Busch.
Oh my gosh.
So they
just flew you up there?
Flew me out there.
Sweet.
Get a awesome private tour. Like, it's literally me, my manager, and then like some of their staff. Like, and it's so they're not just pushing me into like the big group.
Right.
I don't wear the headphones as you walk through. Like, they got their guy.
Right.
That has been brewing beer for 50 years.
Wow.
And he's telling us all the secrets, all the stories, all the history. And it's just incredible. Molson Coors, we even had a special dinner inside their cave where they originated, originally stored the barrels.
Gotcha.
Beautiful cave, beautiful setting, great dinner. Something like Casa Vina would serve.
Really?
And yeah, it was.
Is there just like pressure? I mean, so they're touring you. It's like they're catering to you.
Yeah.
And to them. I mean, does it feel weird? Like how you're supposed to act a little bit? Like, how important am I supposed to act?
Well, that's where my braggadocious personality kicks in.
Right. Right.
So if you want me to be that guy, I'm it. Like,
right. Exactly.
Like, Joe, would you want to? Yes, of course I would want another one.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they were just so full of hospitality. And then Anheuser-Busch, they toured the plants, and then they sent us to the Cardinals played that night.
Okay.
And we got to sit in their private reserve box.
What?
Giant, marble mosaic tile of their logo on the floor. Private bartender, and then you're in the skybox just looking over the stadium.
Okay, I have to ask. So it's super cool that they did this, and Casey's is like pushing it. Like, is there anything in it for these beer companies? Like, is their goal to kind of impress you that you're going to now start recommending them with Casey's Pizza?
That's always the idea. I do try to keep an even recommendation,
right?
But Casey's and the beer companies, they're tight.
They are tight.
Yeah. Oh, they are so tight.
Really? Okay.
They bend over backwards for Casey's. The third in-person appearance I did was judging or going down to their C3 event. That's the year-end or year startup event that motivates all the high-hitting managers, and so everyone from all 13 states of Casey's comes down to this party basically in Kansas City.
Okay.
I don't want to say all the staff. I mean, it's your stores prove you to earn the spot to go down there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We had some representation from Lincoln, but yeah, it's a giant networking style. They have booths of distributors and sponsors throughout this It was like an airplane hangar, this hotel. Like, it was incredible.
Really?
But yeah, I got to meet the Busch Light guide.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was there.
Is he kind of similar? He kind of goes and does promotional things?
It's kind of like that. And again, he didn't think his role would blow up the way it did either.
Right.
That he's like, oh, I'll do a couple commercials or something, and then.
But he was on a Super Bowl commercial, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty. That's what you need to kind of nudge Casey's for.
I
want to be a Super Bowl commercial. I really think we should do this. I think this would
probably be at the Super Bowl when it airs too.
Exactly. Right.
But yeah, no, and the beer sponsors are just I don't know if they know how to say no to helping Casey's out. It's incredible.
I hadn't thought about that. It makes sense because I guess they're depending on places like Casey's and any type of store or gas station to distribute their product, right? I mean, and so they want good relationships, and Casey's has a ton of stores, and so they sell a lot of beer.
Well, that's the official, beer and pizza headquarters.
Yeah, exactly. When you're the official place, you want yours to be sold there. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about your process. Okay, so you now are you won this competition, super excited, had all these cool experiences, and now people actually look to you to be a pizza and beer aficionado. Tell me how that feels. Do you feel like you're learning a lot about it? Are you trying to learn, or do you just wing it? How does this work?
I have tried to kind of look into what beer pairs with pizza the best, just to double check.
Yeah, myself. I want to learn more. Right.
But it is funny because we'll be at parties or something, and Joe, what kind of beer should I eat with this pizza? There's always that one guy that asks me now.
Yes, exactly.
Usually it's dads or father-in-laws.
Right, exactly.
Kelsey's dad, I think, asked me, Joe, what beer am I supposed to eat with this?
Oh my gosh, sister-in-law. So we made a connection that I know a sister-in-law. That is hilarious. And so you have, first off, one thing I did not realize. I looked at Casey's website and pizzas before we did this, and I didn't realize how many types of pizza they have.
Oh,
they have a ton.
They have a ton out there now, and they have a ton on that are specialty, that are seasonal.
Okay.
That might come out every other year. That's one of the other things. I keep getting comments on all my Casey's related posts.
Right.
Bring back the mac and cheese pizza.
Right.
Bring back the brisket pizza. Bring back the pepperoni extreme. Everyone has their favorite pizza that just want to that one. My life was so much better when I had that pizza. Around,
exactly.
It can change my life if you bring it back for me.
Right. So I mean, how often do you now get pizza? I mean, now that you this is a part of your world. Do you is this are you there so much more frequently now? Or
that first 3 months, 2 months, it was constant.
Yeah.
Excuse me. 3 times a week.
Do you get it for free, by the way?
Oh yeah.
You do? Yeah. Okay, good. How does this work? Do you just
walk in there, flash my card, CPBO, official business.
Exactly. Check out the badge.
Yeah.
Right.
That's who I am.
Right. Exactly.
No, just a ton of gift cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, here's a stack of them. Have fun.
Right. Because you need it. Because
I'm running low.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, because you do need to eat the pizza to try it.
I have to make sure, and quality control every once in a while. So
exactly.
Yeah, you gotta
do you know how many Casey's are in Lincoln specifically?
I wanted to look that up.
It's got to be quite a number. I mean, I feel like they're everywhere.
I think we're over 15. I think it's 18.
I would have guessed that too. I feel like I maybe read 17 at some point in the last year or two, and that feels right.
Yeah, and they keep popping up. Well, Casey's is great because I love new store builds because they just look immaculate. This is the way a Casey's should look.
Yeah,
but they're so adaptable because the one right across the street here,
right
on 84th, that used to be a whatever,
an Easy Go.
Yeah. Now Casey's.
Yes, I know.
So they can easily take over an established gas station
Right.
just like that.
Right. Well, and I mean, it's funny. I didn't even intend for this to be a plug to go to Casey's, but it is true. I mean, they really are like, I will sometimes go out of my way to go to a Casey's gas station because it's cleaner, it's nicer, and I mean, and granted, when you have a place that's known for its pizza, you do kind of think to yourself, well, if they're serving food and they're priding themselves on food, you want it to feel clean.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so what you're saying is, what you're going to expect, like, what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Which is great. On the other side,
right,
when there isn't a Casey's that is immaculate, they'll let me know on Instagram. That's for damn sure.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. You need to come out to this Iowa Casey's. They need to pick up their trash in their parking lot. It's like,
and isn't that funny that somehow that's now your responsibility? Yeah. You're like, okay, I'll say something to someone.
CPBTO?
Right.
Pizza and beer and trash, I guess.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Not my department, buddy.
Yeah, but
I'll get on it.
I remember the first time I ever heard about Casey's Pizza being a thing. And this is a long time ago. This would have been back in like the early 90s. I mean, we're talking way back in the day. I grew up in Kearney, Nebraska, okay. And about 30 minutes away was Wood River, home of Scott Frost, by the way.
Oh.
Actually went to a Scott Frost game when he was a high school student, when he was like a superstar high school student. Yeah. So my friend lived there in Wood River, and I went to stay the night at his house. And of course, since these small communities, there's not a lot of like restaurants. And he's like, oh, we're going to go get pizza at Casey's tonight. And I knew of Casey's gas station, and his mom was like, oh, Casey's has really good pizza. And of course, it was really good. And that was the first that I ever heard somebody say Casey's has a good pizza. I still remember that.
Well, you're bringing up a great point, because Casey's, while they're in the big cities, they're thriving on the small communities of 2,000 to I don't know, 8,000 people, and that's their convenience store. Like, that's their place to go to grab the milk, get the eggs, and I think that's just incredible. But yeah, it is. I remember about the same time, probably like late 2000s, of the Casey's ads were Casey's, known for pizza. Right. And I would always laugh, like, no, you're known for gasoline because you're a gas station. Right. But now it's like they've done it. Like they are the 5th largest pizza distributor in the United States.
That is like mind blowing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. I read that the other day, and I had no idea. But then you think about it, and it makes perfect sense. Yeah. Because it said there were, I think, over 2,600 stores, 17 different states. And when you mentioned the small towns of 2,000 to 8,000, it's like, well, of course, large pizza chains aren't in those communities, right?
Yeah. And yeah, I'm glad you have that experience after a football game. Yeah. Because it always reminds me of, doing the baseball game and going to Pizza Hut as a kid. Right. So, you accomplish a game, complete a goal, you get your pizza. Yeah, doesn't matter where. Now it's going to be Casey's.
And how often do people mention breakfast pizza at Casey's? All the time.
Oh, number one, like,
pizza. Is that mentioned to you all the time?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, they got some really good breakfast pizza. Like, I do know that, but I don't stop telling me.
Right, exactly. I know. That actually, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that was a thing. My wife had a friend at work, and he made a comment that he loved getting Casey's breakfast pizza. And that also was that was a new one for me. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, no, and even for me, it's always a treat when I can grab a slice before work.
Right. So how does this work for you'll sometimes you'll make these videos on just like that you post to Instagram. It's not TikTok, right? It's Instagram. Right? Instagram. Okay. So you do Instagram, and you kind of have these different pairings or whatever. How do you decide on the beer? How does this work?
Well, the first pairing I did was the beef and Busch Light, and I called that the Midwestern's Delight. Because if you're in Nebraska, Iowa, wherever, Busch Light's your go-to. Okay. And then with us being a beef state, it's a no-brainer.
Exactly.
The other easy ones are taco pizza with Corona.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I put together, let's see, the meat galore. You got a mountain of meat there on that pizza.
Okay, yeah.
So we got a Salute Colorado.
Right.
And put some Coors Banquet together with that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I kind of take liberty of being creative with it. what tells a good story.
Right.
And then, but some are no-brainers.
Right.
There's a new, brand new Italian. Oh shoot, I forget the official name, but it's
actually, hold on. I think I'm some Italian deli.
The Italian deli pizza.
Yeah, I think so. I typed a couple of these out. Yeah.
I didn't even know about this one.
Yeah.
I went to Casey's today and I saw that as the new option. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
That. Yeah.
I just went on the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's gonna be paired with a nice Italian lager.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you got to figure out what the right one is.
Yeah. I do like to joke with if people suggest, like, Joe, you should drink this beer with that pizza. Are you out of your mind? There's no way that would work.
Right, exactly. Like, listen, I'm the professional here.
You're trying to take my job? Yeah, no, this is why you didn't get it.
Okay, have you ever, you're never going to go down the route of like breakfast pizza and beer, are you?
Oh, we did try that.
Did you? Okay.
Actually, this is behind the scenes stuff. I hope I won't get in trouble for saying it. So I'm ready to do my pizza and beer review, and I got a Casey's robe.
Yeah.
I'm in my pajamas. I'm about to sit down to say goodnight.
Right.
Or no, I'm sorry. That's what we fixed it to.
Okay, gotcha.
So the original idea, I didn't know what to pair it with. So I was like, maybe I should do the Clamato, comparable to a Bloody Mary.
Okay.
And then I had oh my gosh, Blue Moon. Get the citrus orange in there, and then I grabbed one of the energy drinks, the Monsters that have the alcohol in it now. Okay. So I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going to wake up, I either want my tomato beer, I'm going to want the orange beer, or what the hell, exactly. The energy drink to get up and ready to go. And then my manager, we probably shouldn't suggest people wake up and start drinking immediately. Like, well, it's a breakfast pizza. What am I supposed
to do?
So we switched. We did a flip and said, breakfast is for dinner. So gotcha. Now I'm getting ready for bed, eating my pizza.
Okay.
And
hey, it makes sense. Actually, to be honest, here's where my thought went was, think about when people are tailgating before a football game. Mm. If you have a game that's starting at 11 o'clock in the morning, people will drink, and it's accepted.
Right? Yeah. No, that's a great point.
Especially the Bloody Mary, the mixing tomato juice with beer or whatever. Like the red beer.
The red
for
beer.
Huskers.
Yep, Huskers.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
I do. The problem with being a wedding DJ is every Saturday I'm working.
Okay.
But one lucky day, maybe next year, I'll be able to go tailgate and just a whole stack of pizzas and just start passing them.
Yeah. Oh, that would be sweet.
That's one of my dreams to do.
That would be. So tell me, okay, as a DJ. Are you DJing on game days a lot of times? Because there are people brave enough to do weddings.
Yep.
So you hear not to do it, but I'm sure there's always a few lost souls that don't know any better.
They want to get married this year. They want to get married in the fall, and
there's only so many weekends.
Yeah,
right.
Everyone, the most sought after wedding date is the Nebraska bye week.
I'm sure.
And that's when you charge double.
Right. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. I do. Now that I think they fixed it, you probably know more than me.
I don't know.
They had one game this year on a Friday night.
Yes, they did have one game on a Friday night.
Because
I work at the university, and we got off of work that day because of parking.
Oh, yeah.
They did it with parking. I actually had to go into campus briefly, but actually everybody that worked on campus worked from home. And they changed all classes to remote classes for the parking situation.
Oh, my gosh. So it's a problem within UNL as well. Like,
oh, yeah.
So I did a wedding that night.
Oh, you did?
They're like...
Because they planned it way in advance before they knew?
Yeah. They're like, well, I don't want to have a game day wedding. I'm going to do a Friday night wedding.
Oh, shoot.
And then out of nowhere, here's a football game.
Yeah, the Illinois-Nebraska game was that night.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be a bummer. Okay, so now I'm curious a little bit about this. So you do a lot of weddings on game days. So this is a common thing for you. You've done this for years.
Yep.
Obviously, whenever there's a wedding on a game day, one of the questions is, are they going to show the game? Is it kind of like a must at most receptions?
you're getting to a touchy subject.
Okay. Yes.
I've had brides that don't you dare show that game at my reception.
Ooh.
Like, you're here for me and my husband's love.
Okay.
Not for football.
Okay.
And then I've had other brides are like, yeah, throw it on. I don't give a crap. Like,
right.
This last year, bride had it projected. We had dinner. I think when we had to hold off on the first dances for halftime.
Okay.
After halftime. So it was just people watched the game.
Okay.
And
like
for
ate
the first
and
half.
just kind of
we ate. We did speeches just before the game started. Then the game started, so people just kicked back and did their thing.
Okay.
Right at halftime, we got the formal dances done.
Okay.
And then we said, all right, we're going to continue watching the game, but we're also going to open the dance floor. So
yeah,
give or take about half and half on who wanted to dance or watch.
Yeah.
Continue watching.
No, I would imagine that worked really well.
It did.
Because you're kind of opening up for everybody.
Yeah, and it was the right crowd for it too. I guess I should say the in-between is like some venues, they'll have the game like in another room, like maybe in a bar area.
Right.
And then I'll be in, the main lounge or a reception hall with the dancing. But that's a big hit or miss because sometimes it's great and I have my dance floor and people can still watch the game. But there's been times where no one, I'm by myself and people are just watching the game.
Does it, and so obviously, not to stereotype, but it probably, a lot of times it starts with like the guys, right? Like a lot of times it's
the dads. The dads that start.
The dads.
Yeah.
I was in the groomsmen, but no, it's the dads.
It's the dads. They're there because they still have that old 90s like hope,
Right.
They remember when it was the good old days and they want to see it happen for the first time.
Oh man! Oh yeah!
And then the group.
And if it's a close game, I guess it depends if it's a close game. I've heard it's a game where I hate to say we're blowing them out because that hasn't happened in a while. So it's probably a game that we're getting blown out, perhaps. But if it's close, then people want to watch.
And that's also another reason why it has been easy for me to take those gigs.
Right.
Because I'm not really missing out on it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. It would be different than back in the 90s when it was like, a big, big deal with all of that. That's interesting. So, okay, what's, kind of as we're kind of getting closer to the end, what's new year, 2025.
New year, new me.
Now, and you're coming up on a year of being the CPBO.
Yeah.
Anything on the docket that for this special title this year in 2025?
Oh man. I suppose you can expect a really fun anniversary video.
Okay.
Maybe I'll relive my life as a CPBO.
Yeah. Does this have an expiration date? Or do you not know yet?
It's interesting.
If that's a detail you don't want to share yet, that's fine too.
I guess it's hard to answer.
Okay.
But there's a chance that I'll just keep plugging away.
Just keep doing it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So still to be determined.
It's to be determined.
Okay.
I think as long as there's pizza and beer out there, they'll always.
And as long as there's Joe Cruz, you got such a good name for it. I wonder if your name helped you get this position, Joe Cruz. I mean, it's you got a cool name.
I always know if someone knew me before high school.
Okay.
It's Joseph to them.
Oh, really?
My friend Dave now.
Okay.
David and Joseph.
Oh, didn't think about that.
Catherine, who goes by Kat now. I always call her Catherine still.
Okay.
So but once when I got to high school, I'm like, I got to be cooler.
Right.
And I think Joe Cruz sounds pretty cool.
It does sound cool. Yeah.
So I kind of changed it then. And yeah, even guy like my, oh my gosh, my accountant's like, Joe Cruz, that sounds like a movie star.
Right, exactly.
Star? I'm like, well, someday maybe.
You're like, I'm a DJ.
Yeah, I'm a DJ.
I would imagine it does play into your DJ persona a little bit.
Or people do ask me if that's a real name.
Right. Okay.
Like, is that a stage name? Like, nope. It's all me. It's all me.
No, this is real. They're like, oh, come on. And you're like, nope, really, that is my actual.
If I was gonna have a stage name, it'd be Dirk Diggler.
I love it. And real quick, how'd you get into DJing? I'm just curious, and because I've DJed 2 weddings.
Have you?
I have, but I my first one was
play some bangers.
Here's the deal. I am not a DJ by trade. A good friend of mine, we were friends in high school and then into college. And as we were when we graduated college, no joke, we were at his rehearsal dinner on a Friday night, and he asked me that night, "Will you DJ my wedding tomorrow?" Dead serious.
No kidding.
Yeah, he really did.
And you said it was just a friend.
Yeah, he was a good friend of mine.
But you weren't in the wedding party, were you?
I was not. I was an usher.
Okay. Oh, but an usher still. Okay.
I was an usher. Yeah, we kind of had he had a lot of his like college friends in the wedding, and then us high school friends were like ushers and all of that. And he asked me if I would DJ.
Why so late notice? Did the DJ fall through, or
he was just a young dumb dude? Yeah, just like I don't mind to call him dumb, but just a young dude thing to do. So he had equipment. So I had some of it. He knew that I don't mind being up in front of people and all of that, but he definitely had not planned ahead for this, obviously. And he had the equipment because he's been in bands before. He's really good with music and all of that sort of stuff. So it was going to be at the East Campus Union. It wasn't the East Campus Union.
DJ there, yeah.
Yeah, and so good space. So he had all of his speakers and all of that. And of course, this is early 2000s, so it's all CDs still.
Yep.
And I was not and I wasn't tech savvy anyway. So one of the challenges was it's not like I had this huge selection of CDs. He had quite a few. He had friends, and I had like a couple, but I'm not gonna lie. And he had like a kind of a list, but it was fun. I mean, I still remember when him and his wife walked into the ballroom, and I literally showed up like an hour before the reception, and I'm like, and somebody's like showing me all the equipment, this and that, and all. I'm like, okay, but he kind of had a list of songs, so I maybe like a little bit of a schedule. And I remember him and his wife walked in, and it was like in that moment. I'm just like 22 years old, and I had no practice at this, and I had this moment where I'm like, "It's the newlywed couple," and they all cheered, and I was like, "Thank God I thought to say that." I was just like on a whim. I'm kind of like, "What am I supposed to do next?" I had not thought ahead,
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Like,
right?
Oh, look at them! There they are.
Right, exactly.
Oh, I should probably say something.
Yeah, like this is my moment. I actually need to say something to get the crowd like going. So no, it went good. I always remember I was always like, okay, next song, I gotta get ready. This song's playing. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Okay, get ready. Okay, next song, go. And then
I DJ'd with CDs. That's what I got into.
Is that you got? So tell me about one of your first experiences.
Well, hang on, finish your story then.
Well, no, I was just gonna say. So I DJ'd that night, and then fast forward maybe 7 or 8 years, I worked in new student enrollment on campus, orientation program for new students on campus for many years.
Oh, so they want you to throw the parties?
No, one of my students, a girl like this who was an undergrad. She was her name was Emily. Really, really nice. She was engaged. And her fiance he was an orientation leader. So they're both super nice. And her and I were talking about her wedding and all of that. And I go, Emily, I've DJ'd a wedding before. I'm totally joking when I say this, but I was like, I did. She's like, you have? And I kind of told her the story. And my last name being Beavers, I call myself DJ Beav. And so she comes into my office like a week later. She goes, DJ Beav, will you DJ my wedding? I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Now this at least was a couple months in advance, but I gotta say, I would give myself a B minus. I would say.
Yeah.
I did okay. So this would have been around 2008 or 9 probably. And here was the challenge with that era. I'm still not super tech savvy, but at this point, good DJs are starting to use like their laptops and have a playlist, and you click into things and it can play through the computer system, Apple right?
Music or something.
And I had one of those old school iPods where you like turned it and all that. Is that used? That's how I played it, and it was a little rough. It went fine, and the mom had a lot of attitude that she wanted me to turn the music down because it was too loud. I would imagine you've gotten that a lot. Oh, I got through it, and I'm happy, but I was kind of like, I probably should say no next time.
What venue was that one at?
That was actually way out in Imperial, Nebraska.
Oh,
it was way out in Western Nebraska, and same thing. It was at some reception hall. She had all the equipment. The only equipment I needed to bring literally was like my iPod.
Yeah.
But I had to get all the playlists ready beforehand.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
good.
Also, super conservative family, and she's like, tells me what songs she doesn't want me to play. And like half the songs are like the in songs at the moment that I'm like, okay, so like
this is what's going to be requested, and you're telling me to say no to
yeah, exactly. So I got through it, but that was it. So tell me about some of your early experiences.
So I graduated high school in 2004. and Craig Estudillo, voice of the Lincoln Stars.
Okay.
Lincoln, full strength. That's for you, Craig. He DJ'd all of our high school dances.
Okay.
And I was always the first one there, last one to leave. He's like, hey, would you like to, learn how to become a DJ sometime? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Sweet.
So I DJ'd at Lux Middle School, 8th grade dance, end of the year thing, 1 hour.
Okay.
It's literally, here's the 7 songs you're going to play and go,
Okay.
So that was it. It's all the line dance. It's really easy, but I did it, nailed it, crushed it.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
And we want to do another thing? Yeah. So he built me up through like school dances,
okay,
homecomings, proms. And then when he thought I was ready, like, do you want to try to do a wedding? And
okay,
like, yeah, all right. And first couple were probably a little rough. I don't remember too many of the early ones, but I do remember the first wedding I did on my own. That was a 4-hour dance.
Wow.
Because before then, it's usually like 2.5, maybe 3.
Right.
But this one, they got through everything and are ready to start the dance. I'm like, oh my God, it's like 7 o'clock and we're going to go till midnight. Like, we're screwed. Like, I don't know that much music.
Right.
And by that time, when Craig got me in,
right,
he lugged in 4x4 cases of CDs.
Oh my gosh.
Puts them on the back table, heavy as hell.
All right.
And I would have to call him like, Craig, they want to hear Money Money. Like, where's this CD at? Okay, Joe, you're going to go to the 3rd case.
Right.
2nd row in, halfway down, you're going to see some Billy Idol CDs. Okay, it'll be on.
You have to be so organized, wouldn't you?
It was crazy. Crazy. And then we got to burn CDs. So I taught him how to burn CDs. Like, Craig, this is changing our lives.
Right.
Top 40s, top 40 country, slow songs,
right,
dinner music,
Yep.
So he would like deliver to me. It looked so sketchy. Just a plastic bag with CDs in it that are like about this thick. So he seriously just handed me this bag over, like, all right, this is all you need for the night. Like, okay. And then iPods. I finally got an iPod.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, Craig, iPod. This is going to change our lives.
Right.
I feel like it was an Apple commercial, like all the way through. And then I showed him like iPods, playlist. Joe, this is great. Like, we could put top 40, like top 40 countries.
Yes.
So we were doing that. And then for years, my setup, or Craig and I set up, was a Newmark iDJ, where you put 2 iPods in it. And then you can slide.
Yeah, shift the music back and forth.
Crossfade.
Okay.
It was beautiful. It was awesome.
Game changer.
I probably would still be using it if it wasn't outdated.
Right.
But now Spotify, and
that's
my
true.
God, Spotify.
Just is it almost like too easy for you now in some ways? I mean, I know you still have to have the like personality and all of that, but do you almost look at other DJs, you're like, you have no idea?
Well, I don't mix. Like, I'm not an official DJ mixer.
Right.
So if I look at other DJs, I'm like, all right, they got their thing.
The mixing, that's true. But just the playing the music DJs.
Playing the music, it's like I set up a playlist. But each wedding is different, because I'll have like, all right, we're going to do this, play that, play that. It's going to be perfect. But then you get there and you start getting some requests. Or maybe they're not dancing to that song that you thought was going to hit. Right. So, all right, now we got to shift. Right. And then we'll see what they like there. And yeah, just kind of go with the flow of the environment. And that's the part. If that doesn't happen, then it's going to be not a boring night, but I'll just be like, okay.
So I know you're really trying to feel the crowd out. Yeah. And that takes a lot of just like this, I don't know how to call it. It's like this weird spirited energy of like, what do we do to raise that? And there's certain songs I'm sure it's going to probably work, but not always.
Oh my gosh, there's been so many times where even if, okay, now I feel like I'm going.
I love it. I love it.
A whole other podcast.
I love it.
So I love getting lucky with the crowds that I could play. No matter what I'll play, they're dancing to it.
Great, yeah.
Then there's other crowds, and I used to like almost take it personally, but you're playing hit after hit, and no one's dancing. Right. It's just a sit and drink and talk crowd. Like now, I get it now. You know?
Right.
But before, and then you can kind of look out and like, well, they're bouncing along to the music. They're not dancers.
Right.
So I used to like get like, what the hell's wrong with
kind of
me?
take it
Like,
personally.
yeah.
Now you realize it's okay. This is just a different.
And with those crowds, now I know like, okay, we're gonna communicate more throughout the night, throughout the songs.
Gotcha.
Maybe plug in a little more jokes or
right.
Put some dedication. This song goes out to that table right over there.
Right.
Never requested it, but
right.
Like,
exactly.
I know they're gonna want it. You
right.
know? So yeah, it's awesome to adapt to each different crowd, and when you build up this moment for this next song,
yeah,
and it does kill, and they're just going wild, like, oh,
that's good.
That's the stuff I like.
I love
that's
it.
The stuff
I was at a wedding that is so cool, and you're right. I think to be a good DJ, that just the fact that you're even thinking about that shows that you're doing a good. You know, I was at a wedding last summer, and the song by Whitney Houston, "I Want to Dance with Somebody," came on, and everybody went to the floor dancing. It's a pretty good song to dance to. It's really fun. The next song, I don't remember what it was a buzzkill. Oh. And it was a slow, old song. And everyone literally just looked at each other like why? Why would we play this? We were all having so much fun and you killed it. Oh. And then the thing is, some of us had to leave early because it was out of town, and so people were going to drive back. And I mean, that was kind of it for dancing because of that. Had there been a couple more fun ones, we would have stayed on for at least a few more songs probably.
That's I like being a DJ because I get to hear the stories from my coworkers go to weddings. Joe, they could have used you last night because a DJ would do that. Right. We were having a great time. He played this one country song. Everyone got on the dance floor, and then hip hop right after that, and everyone left. Right. But then there's other weddings where I'll play Whitney Houston's. Right. And I'm like, sweet, I finally got them out here. They're dancing, and then I'll hit them with like ABBA. Right. Which, like, you know, it's just a lateral move. It is. It's true. So, like, this should have worked, but no, they're like, screw that. Right. They go back and sit down. So exactly. It is. Crowds are odd sometimes. Right. But no, that DJ was wrong. He shouldn't have done that. Yeah, exactly. So sometimes you can feel it, and other times you're right. There's just it's not you. It's the group, and maybe it took every ounce of them just to do that song, and there was no way they were going to stay for a second song. Right. Yeah. So. Yeah. A lot of and then if you need to save the dance, just throw them Cupid Shuffle, and it'll take care of it. Is that a kind of a helps to save you? I don't ever need to play it ever again personally, right? For your own sake, but yeah, right. But I'll for the sake of the party. Yeah, I also feel like girls just want to have fun. That one is it's great, and I always feel like that really works with the bridesmaids. Typically, I always forget that it works because usually. I kind of save that for like a bouquet toss. Okay. But I had it requested this last summer. I'm like, oh yeah, totally forgot about that. Let's do it. And boom. The girls just oh yeah. Fun. There's a cover of it now. I'll have to look it up. Okay. But it has a super cool like drum beat intro. Like it's almost like a march and dance sound. Like I'll look it up. Okay, let me know. Cool. Kind of an updated version of it. Oh, that's smart. Yeah, it's really fun. You gotta love that. You're right. Maybe sometime we need to talk more DJ stuff because that could be fun. But your background as a DJ did feed into what you do as chief pizza and barista. You do so many cool things. That is so fun. Well, I mean that's just who I am. I want to live a fun life. Yeah. And I want to put myself out there, so I go out and get it. You know? What got you into like wearing like fun outfits? I've always been a costume guy. Have you? Oh man, I don't know what it was. I've watched too many like spy movies back when I was a kid, maybe. But just having, and then like getting Spirit Week at school. I always wanted to be the one that looked the best, or right. You're gonna dress like a leprechaun? Yeah, we're dressing like a leprechaun. Right, and we're going all out. Going all in. Right, right. So I've always just been a fun costume loving guy. And then you never know what party's gonna be thrown. It's true. So it's nice to have some in the closet, right? And you can just go like, this is gonna kill it. When my wife and I met, I had oh my gosh, my wardrobe would probably fill this room. And then she slowly like chiseled away at it, or helped me chisel away at it. Right. And we're having kids, so we don't have the room for it. Right. But 2 weeks ago, just gutted my office closet,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is, and I put a 10-foot pole in, and now I have 10 feet of
Oh, really?
costumes that I
Okay.
moved. Yeah.
Okay.
So the collection's back for sure. And yeah, I wore this. I got
Yeah.
a matching outfit.
What am I looking? I mean, some people might be listening or watching, but this is like this blue outfit with this gold. Like, what
So
design am I
this
looking at?
is Snoop Dogg's outfit from the Rams Super Bowl 4 or 5 years ago.
For real?
This is when he did the halftime show.
Oh my
This is the
gosh.
jumpsuit he wore.
What?
So when Snoop Dogg came to PBA on 420,
Okay, that's right.
I'm like, we're going all in. So I bought tickets. I told my brother, I have tickets. We're going together.
Right.
Meet me at my shop. And he didn't know when he showed up, I'm wearing this. I'm like, guess what, buddy? I got one for you too. And
Oh my gosh.
they sent a wrong size. So I had one for my Andy Reid father-in-law who
Oh,
drove us down
nice.
there.
Okay.
I'll send you that video.
Okay.
And then I surprised him. Not only did we have floor seats, we had the meet and greet with Snoop Dogg.
You did?
Yep.
Did he say anything? Like,
oh, you're my Super Bowl Angels.
Oh, really? Yeah. That is awesome.
And then we had the after-hour party with him too,
what?
where there's maybe a dozen tables set up, and he comes back out and he just DJs and mixes.
Where was that held at?
It was on the second floor of the PBA, but it was like behind the stage.
Really?
So they put curtains up so you couldn't see it from like walking around.
Right.
And then they lead you in the back. So we were in the VIP section, and then there's another 200 people just standing behind us.
What?
Yeah.
How did you land tickets for that?
Lots of money.
I was like, I mean, maybe now that you've got these like official titles, maybe
now maybe I'll work my CPBO.
Yeah,
exactly. They'll just drop that.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
CPBO section.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Where the official tie with like the name badge and all that. Are you actually, speaking of outfits? So you have obviously the outfit from this picture here, the tie, and it says CPBO on it.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
there going to be more outfits that come with this, or?
Oh, I try to do, if a video calls for a better outfit,
yeah,
I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm pretty proud of that. You know, I figure CPBO is an official.
Did you make that?
Working guy, yeah.
You did?
So I put together, just a white shirt, red tie for Casey's, and then printed the CPBO. But now I'm upgraded and I embroidered a big Casey's logo with a CPBO underneath.
Really?
And and every time I have that picture printed bigger than this guy here on the back of my wall in my office.
Okay.
And when we had
I saw that on some of your Instagram videos.
Good.
Yeah.
We had our first Zoom with my team.
Yeah.
And that was behind me already. Right. So they had no idea that I was like, oh my God, like we picked the right guy.
Yeah, exactly. Where did you take this picture? Like, did they take it, or did you do that?
No, I did that, and then I just photoshopped the backdrop as an old school, really? Portrait. Yeah, I'm a graphic artist at a shirt and sign shop, so I have printing capabilities, embroidery, to my.
Dang, man, you're like Mr. Creative over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so. I mean, the picture looks so good that I just kind of assumed that Casey, you did this yourself.
It's so ridiculous.
I love it.
It's so fun.
I love it. Oh man, that is the coolest thing. So, well, tell you what, this has been so much fun talking to you, and I feel enlightened and lucky that you've been here. So
yes,
yes, exactly. All right, well, cheers.
Oh my gosh.
Good luck in your pizza and beer.
Thank you, Jeff. This was a blast, man.
Yeah.
I'll come back anytime.
All right, sounds good. All right, thank you. Joe, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining. You can find Joe on Instagram. He goes by American Role Model for his Instagram handle, or you can just go to the Casey's Instagram page and you can find him. And I hope he's enjoying National Pizza Week right now. Thanks again, Joe, for joining and sharing your stories. This is How to Speak Nebraskan.